What if the biggest royal comeback plan of the year was never really about reconciliation, family healing, or even the Invictus Games? What if it was about something far more valuable to children the world has barely seen, suddenly becoming the center of a storm that nobody saw coming? Because right now, whispers are flying across Britain, royal commentators are sounding alarms, and a growing number of people are asking the same uncomfortable question, why now?
This just got a little bit twisted and even more sick. The real reason that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are bringing their children Archie and Lily to the United Kingdom next month is not because they want to have some lovely meeting with King Charles, who they have deprived from his brethren for all this time. It is rather as a PR stunt to unveil their faces to the entire world and start bringing in the moolah.
I believe it's an act of desperation. Meghan is impervious to shame.
I do think that she risks being booed if she puts herself out there too much in the UK. And if it weren't unprofessional, I might be one of the ones in the crowd going, ah!
For years, the story coming out of Montecito was simple. Distance, privacy, protection. The children were kept away from cameras, away from public appearances, away from Britain itself. Every glimpse was carefully managed. Every photograph felt calculated down to the smallest detail. A shoulder, a silhouette, the back of a head. Nothing more, nothing less. And then suddenly, almost out of nowhere, reports emerged suggesting the entire family could return to Britain together. Not just Harry, not just Meghan, everyone.
It's all one big game, and I watch people fall for it every time. I will eat my shoe if those children appear at the Invictus Games event alongside Harry. Honestly, I do not believe.
That revelation hit royal watchers like a thunderbolt, because for 4 years, the children were arguably the most tightly guarded public figures nobody had actually seen. Every birthday photograph seemed designed to reveal absolutely nothing. Every family image looked strategically constructed to keep curiosity alive while never fully satisfying it. And now the same children are allegedly preparing for a very public appearance on British soil. The timing alone has people talking. Then came another moment that poured fuel directly onto the fire.
The occasion is significant because it's the countdown to Invictus. Now, the countdown to Invictus is a trivial occurrence. I mean, it's something Harry could have jumped on a Zoom and said, okay, folks, a year to go, good luck, let's go for it. Why are they all coming for what is a nothing burger? A clear message that the Sussexes want to be back in the royal fold, part of the family, and also some kind of public-facing royal role as well.
Think about that for a second. Britain has not seen Archie and Lilibet in years. The last time they were there, the late Queen was still alive. Entire chapters of royal history have unfolded since then. Coronations happened, relationships deteriorated, interviews exploded across headlines, books were published, accusations were made. Yet through all of it, the children remained hidden from public view. So why would everything suddenly change now? The official explanation sounds neat enough.
This is just purely my opinion. I do not believe for a second that Meghan is going to allow those children to be casually walking around on camera. I do not believe that we will see Archie and Lily walking around with mummy and daddy at the Invictus event in a couple of weeks like we see the Wales children with their family, because that would mean Meghan would have to give up control of their images. There is no way that Meghan is going to stop playing the social media games that she does with those two children, and she would have to do that if they're suddenly on camera for the world to see.
A countdown event, a ceremony, handshakes, photos, a routine appearance connected to Invictus. But critics immediately started asking whether that explanation really told the whole story. Because if this were merely about supporting a charitable event, why involve the children at all? Why bring the one element guaranteed to dominate every headline on both sides of the Atlantic? And that is where the speculation becomes impossible to ignore.
Well, I think she's fighting a losing battle with As Ever. Don't forget that Netflix ended their commercial partnership with Meghan to sell the runny spread. It's not even jam, is it? We've got to be accurate about that. And she's in a pickle across the board, really. But no, I think that it demonstrates that both Harry and Meghan need to be part of the royal family again. They need the optics, they need the titles, they need the status, they need the elevated position it gives them. Because at the moment, you know, we've seen that Meghan's popularity is dropping in the United States. So it's a great moment for them and a terrible terrible blow for Team Wales. Prince William will be furious.
The theory spreading through royal commentary circles is blunt. Some believe this trip is not simply a visit. They believe it is a launch. Not a family reunion, not a healing mission, a launch. And according to this theory, the children themselves have become the centerpiece of a much larger strategy. Now, whether that theory is true or not is another matter entirely. But what makes people keep discussing it is the timing. Timing is everything. And right now, many commentators believe timing tells a story all by itself.
I can see that he might have some influence, but Harry's got absolutely zilch. Now he goes to he's an American living his best life. I think he may have been sitting next to an NBA commissioner in row 8, but so if he was, well, that's great, enjoying his best life. But at times you feel that they're trying to present just how much they're enjoying their best life. Where if you want that privacy, as we say time and time again, then shut up and enjoy your best life. But once again, we're seeing that they're having to re-establish their credentials that they are royalty.
Follow the money, they say. Follow the headlines. Follow the public attention. Because in the modern celebrity world, visibility is currency. Relevance is currency. Public fascination is currency. And few things generate global fascination faster than royal children who have spent years completely out of sight. That is why every detail suddenly starts looking suspicious to people already inclined to question motives. The failed projects, the shrinking attention, the endless effort to remain culturally relevant in an environment where public interest shifts overnight. Critics argue that maintaining celebrity influence requires constant reinvention, constant reinsertion into the news cycle, constant reasons for people to keep watching. And what attracts attention more effectively than unveiling something the public has been denied for years? The conversation gets even more explosive when people begin discussing the true source of the Sussex brand's value, because critics claim it was never the products, the podcasts, the documentaries, or the lifestyle projects. They insist the real value always came from one thing: the royal connection. According to that argument, every headline, every debate, every endorsement, every public appearance ultimately traces back to the same source: the monarchy, the titles, the institution they left behind, the family they continue to be connected to whether they like it or not. That is why some commentators see this possible return as more than a simple visit. They see it as an acknowledgement, an admission that Britain remains central to the story. And then there is another uncomfortable question. If privacy was always the priority, why would the children suddenly become part of such a visible event? That question keeps resurfacing because people remember the years of extraordinary caution, the careful photographs, the strategic angles, the refusal to provide clear public images. Nobody accidentally protects something that intensely for 4 straight years. That level of control requires planning. It requires discipline. It requires purpose, which leads many observers to wonder whether the purpose has finally changed. Some commentators believe the children have become the ultimate shield, the ultimate softening mechanism, because no crowd wants to direct hostility toward children. No camera operator wants to focus on negativity when young faces are present. No newspaper wants to risk appearing cruel. And that is where this story becomes far more explosive than a simple family visit, because the moment people started talking about the children, another question immediately surfaced: who exactly opened the door for this return? Because no matter how many headlines appear, and no matter how many commentators speculate, a royal comeback of this scale cannot happen without approval somewhere near the very top. Suddenly, the conversation shifted from Montecito to Buckingham Palace, from celebrity strategy to royal politics, from publicity to power. Reports began circulating that King Charles may have quietly softened his position, not publicly, not dramatically, but enough to create the impression that barriers once considered permanent might no longer be standing. And that possibility sent shockwaves through royal circles, because many people still remember the original agreement made years ago when Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties. It was presented as a clean break, a firm line, a decision that could not be partially reversed whenever convenient. Yet critics now claim that very line appears increasingly blurred, because if Britain was genuinely too dangerous before, what changed? And if nothing changed, then why was the argument made so strongly in the first place? Those questions have created a fresh wave of skepticism. Some believe private arrangements may have occurred behind closed doors. Others believe the danger was exaggerated from the beginning. Whatever the truth, the inconsistency has become impossible for critics to ignore. But perhaps the most fascinating twist arrives at the very end of this story. A surprising number of experienced royal commentators do not actually believe the children will appear at all. That may sound strange, considering the avalanche of headlines, but their reasoning is simple. They have watched this pattern before. Major announcements, massive anticipation, global media attention. Then, at the last moment, plans change, expectations shift, details disappear. The headlines remain, but the promised event never fully materializes. And there is another clue feeding their skepticism. Different media outlets reportedly received different versions of the story, one suggesting the entire family would attend, another implying the children were not expected. Two conflicting narratives emerging almost simultaneously. That is why some commentators are calling it a trial balloon rather than a confirmed plan, a test, a way to measure public reaction before making a final decision. Because if the children never appear, the family still receives weeks of headlines, weeks of attention, weeks of speculation. The mystery remains alive. The curiosity remains unsatisfied, and control remains exactly where it has always been. Yet, if the children do appear, the consequences could be enormous. Every photograph would dominate front pages around the world, every expression would be analyzed, every outfit would be discussed, every interaction would become international news. Either way, the story machine wins. And that may be the most revealing detail of all, because beneath every argument about reconciliation, family, security, and royal politics sits a far simpler reality. Attention remains the most valuable currency in modern public life. The palace understands it, the media understands it, and perhaps nobody understands it better than the people at the center of this controversy. So now all eyes turn toward July. Will the children finally step into public view after years of mystery? Will Britain witness the unveiling everyone is talking about? Or will this become another royal cliffhanger that vanishes at the final moment, leaving nothing behind except questions? Because right now, nobody outside the inner circle truly knows, and that uncertainty may be the biggest clue of all. The closer July gets, the louder the speculation becomes. The louder the speculation becomes, the more valuable the mystery grows. And somewhere behind palace walls, media headlines, and Montecito gates, decisions are still being made, which means this story is not ending. It may only be entering its most dramatic chapter yet.